listening to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Your hosts, Nate and John, cover their shared history with the band, discover new music together, and cover the farthest reaches of the Deep Purple family tree and beyond. Here's Nate and John now.
Welcome to the Deep Purple Podcast, a fan podcast devoted to one of the greatest bands in rock history, Deep Purple. Today's episode is episode number 319, album ranking Machine Head. And coming to you from the suburbs of Chicago, where I have my AC on, I'm your host, Nathan Beaudry.
And coming to you from the suburbs of Providence, I'm your co-host, John Smoke Off the Podcast, Matola.
Smoke off. Yes. That sounds like, smoke off.
Yeah, smoke off, yeah. Yeah, see, little tribute to Scott there.
There we go.
Seeing as we're doing Machine Head.
Yes. Yes, and me and John are all over the Haskin cast, or I'm sorry, the Smoke on the Podcast like a bad rash. So those episodes will be coming to you soon.
Oh boy.
Gardo's calling you Uncle John. We'll get to that in a minute, but
yeah.
Welcome. This is a live stream episode where we, if you have not heard these before, we rank an album and get the rankings from all of our wonderful patrons, put them into a giant colorful spreadsheet, assign point values to all the songs, and we'll give them to you in the rankings that these songs on this album were finally ranked by all of our patrons. If you want to support our show, become a patron. You have access to our patrons-only Discord, our rating spreadsheet. You also get invites for live streams like this one. You have a link for submissions to these album rankings, and you get access to banned episodes via Patreon. All of our, you've heard about all those banned books lately. We've got some just salacious episodes like taken down off of YouTube. Salacious. Yes, we've all sorts of completely inappropriate subject matter. John and I are both accidentally sporting Simon McBride hairdos today. I just woke up like this and it looked like Simon McBride. So I was like, it actually kind of looks pretty cool.
I got out of the shower
or anything
a little while ago and it just kind of stuck up. So like that. Yeah.
Looking like a cool dude. So a few ways you can support our show. Our show is 100% listener supported and ad free. So if you receive some value from our show, please consider giving us some value back. And you could do that on Patreon. You can do that on PayPal. You can buy some stuff on our Etsy store. As I said in one of our last episodes, we were out of extra large shirts. I reached out to somebody who bought one. They didn't get back to me. I emailed them again, didn't get back to me. So I ordered some new ones and I just found out they shipped today. So hopefully I get them in a few days, ship them out to that person, and they're probably going to be like, oh, I forgot I ordered that. But I will put an apology letter in there. So I'm very sorry for the delay. And I'll have a few more extra large shirts to put in our inventory. So that's good. So speaking of patrons coming in at our executive level, we have the In Memoriam tier with Gerald, Jerry, Kelly, and family. We have the $25 Uncommon Man tier with Ovis, Nakvi, and Purple Maniac. The 15 Squid tier with Alan. The 10-pound Good Doctor tier with Dr. Mike Catan. We've got a turn up to $11 tier with Clay Wambacher, Frank Thielgard, Mortensen, Mikkel Steen, Will Porter, PhD, PP, and on the live stream, Michael, don't call him Bradford Bagford. At the $10 Someone Came tier, Ryan M., Jeff Bryce, Victor Campos, Better Call Saul Evans. And Peter from Illinois. And at the Deep Thoughts by John Matola tier, we have Fielding Fowler.
And now, Deep Thoughts by John Matola.
It's great.
I always forget what you're gonna say.
Me too.
And until you go, it's great.
I'm so quotable.
Yes, Matola is just, it's say the line.
It's great.
So we our next upcoming rankings show will be Who Do We Think We Are? Obviously, the next album. Get us your rankings by August 18th in the year of our Lord 2025. Become a patron if you want to be invited to the live stream and submit your rankings. Get tons. We actually started out pretty slow on this episode with rankings. I think it was just because it was so difficult. And in the last week, I think we doubled the number of rankings we have. So we've got a lot of rankings in here. And for those of you that aren't aware, depending on how many songs are on the album, the first place song, if you rank a song first, it gets, on this particular album, 7 points because there's 7 songs. If you rank it second, it gets 6 points. Third, 5 points, so on and so forth, until you rank it last and it gets 5. So that's where we're at. I do have a little bit of housekeeping to do, and that is, of course, everyone's favorite segment, Postcards from the Edge of Connecticut. And this one is coming to us from Disneyland.
Oh.
So I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can see.
Very cool illustration there.
It's the Monsanto Company's attraction Adventures Through Inner Space in Disneyland. In the newly expanded Tomorrowland, the futuristic building houses a ride through the inner space of a snowflake and a vehicle called the Atommobile. The rider feels the unusual illusion of shrinking to the size of the atom. And it says, Nate, don't miss this attraction when you visit Disneyland this summer. Pete. And then he says, check out the Agent Orange Pavilion. Because this is done by Monsanto.
Wow.
So, pretty cool. Apparently, I did a little. I just looked this up, and it started in 1967 and was closed in 1985 to make way for the Star Tours ride.
Boo.
Boo, 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 George Lucas. I went on Star Tours when I was there a few years ago. It was pretty cool. So yeah. You're looking.
I'm sorry. These fucking guys, right? It could be. I could be home at 9 a.m. or 5 o'clock at night, and they always come with those fucking leaf blowers. It doesn't matter. It makes no rhyme or reason. It's just when I'm recording, when I'm home, when I want peace and quiet.
Do you want me to look at the spreadsheet and see if I've invited them, the leaf blowing guys, to leafblower19@gmail.com? I invited him to the show.
I know you can't hear them, but it's just it really bothers me. And they're blowing that pollen around, all that ragweed. It's it's up to your face right now.
Yeah, John does need a mowing spreadsheet. I liked Michael Bagford says that he thinks Deep Purple played the Agent Orange Pavilion in 1980.
Hey, so before you finish off postcards, I have some housekeeping from that as well.
A postcard? Well, lay it on me.
Oh, okay. Well, very appropriate. Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts just joined us because this past weekend we went with the New England contingent to see Graham Bonnet in New Bedford. And while there, before dinner, Pete gave me a few months belated birthday gift, which I was not expecting.
Oh, okay.
Well, a couple of them. So I'll start off with this wonderful cucumber melon candle, which I found out there was a whole crap load of these that somebody dumped at his house. And
you got a crate of them, or they fell off the back of a truck? A candle heist?
Yeah, I believe he said it was one of his sisters just kind of brought them over and left them there because I didn't ask, but my guess was that she figured Pete's got a ton of crap around his house, he won't know the difference. But he did.
And he just ships it off to Nate and John. So
well, I have to say though, he gave me a strawberry one last year, and I think it was the strawberry one. They're actually very, they're very nice. They're very pleasant. It's not like they're garbage candles or anything. So I have enjoyed the other one throughout the year. So I will enjoy this one.
Do you have a banana
I do
flavor
not.
candle?
I don't.
No.
But the other thing that Pete gave me was, speaking of extra large shirts, because he knows how many night shirts that I need, is this wonderful T-shirt that I'm wearing now, Kurt and Ernie.
Kurt and Ernie. Yes, I saw you wearing that the other night in one of the text posts.
Oh yeah, that's right. No, I was holding it up. I wasn't wearing it. It's too big for me to wear in public. Like goes down to like my knees, practically. But yeah. So, anyways, thanks, Pete. Thanks again.
And on an episode that hasn't aired yet, I wore my Warhorse shirt that Pete made me. But I didn't realize till the end of the episode I had it on inside out because it actually is pretty colorful from the other side. But
yeah.
Yes. And I'm embarrassed to say this, but I never realized that it says Nate and Dymo label at the bottom.
Oh.
Yours must say John.
I'm going to have to go back and look.
All the years I've had this Warhorse shirt and I never realized it was personalized. Unbelievable.
Well, I won't. I won't spend too much time. But seeing as is that we did go to a Deep Purple related event, because I know we have a hard stop time and a lot of Machine Head to get through. But went me, Rich, Steve, Pete, and Mark. And did I forget anybody?
You said Rich, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If I said Rich first, so I wouldn't forget.
Yes.
No Eddie, Pete. Eddie was not there.
No.
He thought he was because we walked.
I like he's asking, even though he was there.
We walked into the restaurant and Rich was like, table for 6, and then he was like, oh wait, it was only 5 of us. But it was like pouring, and we were in like New Bedford, which is like a seaside town. So I thought we were going to get like swept away by the waves. But actually, we all met at a Purchase Street Records, which is a really cool local record store out there. The owner, super nice, was in a band, or is in a band, which like to say is like really good. He started playing. He's, oh, you guys like Deep Purple? We told him we're gonna go see Graham Bonnet. He put on a cover that his band did of Perfect Strangers.
Wow.
Over the PA, over the system and everything. Really good. And I'm not just saying that. He's like, he gave out had free CDs. It's his store, so he can give away what he wants. And they're called All Sinners. They're also on Spotify. So when I went to work the next night, it was like 4 or 5 song EP, and I was listening to them, and their description was very classic metal, Dio ish sounding type of stuff, like Dio, Priest, that type of stuff, and definitely agree with that. They do a really cool job of that. So I was talking to the owner for a couple of minutes, exchange cards, and he would be like, I'd love to, it's not out there, their version of Perfect Strangers, but I'd love to grab like a copy of it so we can play it sometime.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But it was super nice. Steve picked up a few things. He had everything from like vinyl to back patches to everything. But really good vinyl selection for the type of stuff that I like. We went out to dinner, and then went to the venue, and then who was it? Croggy Fog? No, it wasn't. Who was the friggin' opening band? The opening band was something Crystal Fog. That was it.
Croggy.
Well, Pete, he can't get any names right. I didn't think they were too bad. Like Rich was not really having it. I think the guys were kind of like, I mean, they weren't like, I wouldn't go back and listen to them, but I thought they were like fine. They were very 80s, Dokken sounding. They had a song called No Computers, which we were yelling through the whole show.
They had what?
They were just like, yeah, we have a song called No Computers, Pete was just like, he was like, no computers, like he was like, he was like shocked, like he was like the guy was making a proclamation, like that's it, they're all done.
We're done with computers finally.
Yeah, it's like no more. We're taking them away.
Was it a song about like bands that use computers on stage?
I don't know because it's like I guess like while we were watching the show, Steve was looking these guys up. He was like doing a deep dive. Like I looked over and he's on like their Facebook. He's Googling them and shit.
Podcast.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically, he saw like showed a picture of them, which was like a legit picture of them. Like it had to have been in the mid to late '80s, and I was like,
oh this band's been around that long?
Okay, yeah, but I mean, they're obviously local because it's like you know not very well known, and so we're looking at them. The two guys are guitar player, drummer, a little older. The bass player is younger, and so Steve goes, "All right, well that's confirmed." He goes, "The bass player joined like 2 weeks ago or something like that." It was like, okay, so he obviously wasn't in the band like 30 years ago. Um, but yeah, I didn't think they were like I said, I wouldn't go seek them out. I don't think that they were, they weren't that bad, but overall the guys weren't really into it. Yeah, Graham Bonnet, very good. I have to say, like, was not expecting what we saw on stage. Like the band was very strong. Yep. Graham Bonnet, it looked like Pops went out on stage like with a shirt and tie. You know, he was wearing like a little shirt and a tie.
Yep.
But it was like, how can I say? It was like he looked like he just like kind of threw it on. You know, he was just like, all right, I'm an old man and I'm just gonna come out dressed however I want. I was like kind of shocked at how just kind of, you know, not rock starish at all. Anything he looked, he was very plain looking. You know, didn't dress up. It kind of like the Gillan thing, you know, I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah, that's true. And that's kind of been his thing, right? That's what Richie used to piss Richie off.
Yeah, yeah. So it was very like, you know, Rainbow heavy first half of the set and then very solo heavy second half of the set. So we really, you know, we were like basically played the whole Down to Earth album practically for the beginning of the set.
I looked up couple the set of songs list, today.
Yeah, first couple of songs.
John's giving the evil eye to the leaf blower guys
because they're right outside the fucking window and they're like, they're blowing shit all over my car. So it's like they better watch out or I'm gonna kill everybody.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, not you guys, just them. Yeah. So first couple of songs, he sounded a little rough. He sounded like he was reaching a little bit, and I was like, oh boy. Yep. But I just feel like you know, his voice had warmed up a little bit because, you know, he's very like, you know, kind of that, you know, that husky, like raspy kind of like, you know, gritty tone. And, but I mean, it sounded like, you know, and you could tell some of the first songs when he was like hitting those high notes, he was kind of like, it almost looked like he was like going like this, like standing up on his toes, trying to like reach for the notes, like with his whole self, you know, and I'm just like, oh, Graham, no. But, you know, he kind of settled in. Once he got warmed up, he sounded a lot better. Yeah, band was like, you know, some younger guys, and of course his partner on bass, I don't believe is his wife, because he was talking about his, you know, she's you know, he never referred to her as that, so I know that Scott probably knows.
Yeah,
but
the girlfriend. They've been
girlfriend, partner. Yeah, but yeah, they were like, you know, they were really good. It was just like, yeah, any other band with like an older, you know, contingent in it. You know, they have like some younger, you know, guys in there kind of filling in and like really, you know, doing the you know, the music and everything, kind of carrying it along. They did a great job with the music and everything that we knew anyways. Very very faithful to the originals, but and they're really nice. Like, I mean, Bonnet was like, regardless, he was very energetic and witty on stage, you know, cracking jokes and jumping all over the place. You can tell his personality was very, you know, he was very cool.
Nice.
And yeah, there was one song just to wrap it up, was somebody had said something about Uncle John at the beginning of the chat here, and it's because one of his one of his solo songs was called Uncle John, and I guess it was about a teacher that he had when he was a kid. And one day he was missing; he just didn't show up, and they found out that he was a pedophile.
Yes.
And so they wrote a song about him. But the thing is that the song was called Uncle John. So I'm sitting behind everybody, and every time he said the chorus, Mark and Pete would slowly look over their shoulders at me, and I'd be like, "Would you guys knock it off?"
Is it just because they said John, or are you implying that John's a pedophile?
Just well, I hope not. I just hope it's because they were just
I hope not too, because you've already admitted to going to kill everyone on the show, so this is going to be evidence if you keep talking.
Oh Jesus, no! But it's like because my name was in the song, so of course now everybody the rest of the night, hey, Uncle John, Uncle John. So, but yeah, his solo stuff I didn't know as much, but it sounded very like, current, very heavy.
Yeah. That new album I listened to a couple times when it came out, it's really heavy.
Yeah. And then it was I think it was like a couple of hours a set, give or take. The venue was pretty small. It was not too full. It was like I think Rich talked to the guy at the door and said, at least at the time when we were at the opening band, they'd only sold like around 100-ish tickets, which is not a lot. But I mean, in a way, I think that's cool. It's like I like to see them sell a lot more, obviously, so you could like get the support. But it's nice to see somebody of that stature in a kind of an intimate setting, set ended. It was a good time. Graham immediately took off. He was probably like, I'm out of here. I'm exhausted. And Rich did get a chance to like catch him really quick and give me a challenge coin
Nice.
before he disappeared into the night. And then we got a quick picture with Bethany, who was very nice. And I can confirm for Scott that when Rich went up to her and said that we have a mutual acquaintance, Scott Haskin, she genuinely like knew immediately who Scott was, and just had a big smile on her face and was like said that he was one of the most generous, wonderful people that she's met. And so yeah, I can confirm, Scott, nobody was blowing smoke. She really did say. And then we took a quick picture with her, and then I will not spoil a surprise later, but Pete was going around collecting signatures for something which someone may or may not receive in the future, but we're gonna keep that a secret for later. But Pete was doing his thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so overall a fun night. I would definitely recommend. I mean, it's just like Richie and anybody else that's out there, if you have a chance to catch them at least once, I mean, these guys are legends. They're still out there, and even if they're not up to their past glory in terms of performance or whatever, it's like you're still getting to see them. You're still getting to hear the songs, experience a night out. So.
Yeah, and I want to say he was playing by me like a week before that, but I forgot what was going on. It was like, or it might have been on my daughter's birthday, or so. It was something that was like I couldn't get to. But I'm bummed that I didn't get a chance to go see them. All right, I don't know if the leaf blowers blew over John's internet connection.
Nate? Nate, no audio here.
All right, there you go.
Ah, okay. What happened? Did I freeze too, or just you?
Yeah, you froze. But I don't know. I think it might have been on my end.
Okay, you froze for me. All right.
Good timing though, because we're about to get into the album here. I don't know. Should we break for a patron shout out now, and then just go through all the songs and then do the closing?
Yeah,
let's do it. All right. So before we get into the actual rankings and how they worked out, we will do the next thing, which is to thank our core level patrons coming in at the $6.99 new nice price tier. We have Spike's Ghost and Sugar Tea. At the episode $6.66 tier, we have Steve Coldwell. Arthur Smith.
Getting support from the patron Arthur Smith.
Anton Glaving.
Pain in the glaving.
And Charles Meadows. At the $6.65 almost evil tier, we have Kenny Wymore and Richie Sucksmith. At the 70 Norwegian kroner tier, we have on the live stream Kai Runa. Yes, I am Norwegian. Olsen. At the $5.99, the nice price tier, Robert Smith and Carl Hellberg. At the 60 kroner Scandinavian Nights tier, we have Knut Morten Johansson. At the €5.50 tier, we have Merlin Rota. And at the $5 moneylender tier, John Convery, German Heindel, Adrian Hernandez, Jesper Alman, Oleksiy the Perfect Stranger Slepikov, Kev Roberts, Percival of Frequency, Scott Zern, Cynthia Doobie, Wrath Calf.
My Czechoslovakian is not so good.
Coyote Bongwater. John Maselli.
I'm not talking about bicycles. I'm talking about bisexuals.
Sarah Sanders.
No, Kelly Clarkson.
Jelly Bean, Evan Robeson, Richard Fusey, and Purple Swede.
Hookah, sucker, hookah, hookah.
Swede. Sweet, 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 sweet.
Thank you so much to all of you for your support, the Deep Purple podcast. All right, so
that thing with Casey Kasem, it sounded like the audio equivalent of like one of those like cut up magazine ransom notes.
That's because it's what it was.
Or for the Simpsons fans, hello Smithers, you're quite good at turning me on.
Peter Gardeau did the heavy lifting for that by finding the word Czechoslovakia, and I found all the rest, which was actually not that hard. It was all in one episode I listened to. All right, so here we are, folks. Machine Head. Not arguably Deep Purple's greatest album, not arguably their biggest, highest selling album. And looking at the spreadsheet here, I'm going to go up to where it says our final counts here. And we're going to start with the 7th highest ranking track, otherwise known as the ranked last. Easy for me to say.
Nate glitched.
Yeah, I glitched. This one came in with 93 points. Track number 7 probably won't be a surprise to many. Let's hear it.
Number 7.
It is Never Before. Kind of.
Are you playing it?
No.
Oh. All right.
I kind of figured that this is where this one would end because it's pretty much the only song on this entire album that they've never really had in their set for any amount of time. I know I think they played it live for a little bit, but yeah, not much else. What's your should I say how we ranked this one?
Yeah, we usually do. I know that mine was 3rd from the bottom. What was that?
You 5? Ranked it 5, and I also ranked it 5.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's like it was hard, right? Because like we got to go into this saying there's really no bad songs on this album. Like I don't dislike any songs on this album. That's why it was like so hard. But I would say of all of the album tracks, or I guess lesser known tracks, Never Before, kind of ranked toward the bottom because it wasn't one of my I guess favorite because you have all the popular ones, and then you have Maybe I'm a Leo and Pictures of Home, and then every other one is like either a hit or a classic rock staple, radio or whatever. And I love the beginning, love that bluesy jam beginning. The the bridge, the upbeat, chorus. Like, I mean, there's nothing bad about it. It's just when I had to rank it against all the other ones as a whole, it just, there were other ones that I, would want to listen to ahead of it. So that's kind of how I had to, settle it in there for my rating.
I actually really like this song. Love that funky intro. I love the chorus.
Yes, one of my faves.
To me, it always sounds kind of out of place on this album, and maybe it's because all those other songs have been played so many times. Scott's chiming in that they played this 21 times live, so it's got to be the last play. I'm sure maybe I'm a Leo is the next most seldom played song, but I'm sure maybe I'm a Leo has been played 100 times or more, and then the rest of them probably in the thousands. But yeah, it's it is weird though. It just doesn't to me sound like them. It sounds like them doing a cover or something. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, what do other people say?
What do other people? Why don't I just read the spreadsheet?
Why don't you read us the spreadsheet?
Before we get to that, I'm forgetting how we do these episodes. Looking across the board, we have it was ranked last by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 patrons. It was not ranked first by anyone that I can see. It was ranked second by a few. Zwapper, Jeff Bryce, the Gardeau are all ranked at second. So it got some second place finishes. Looking at the responses, so we can scroll over to Never Before here. Let's see. Scott Haskin says, John Lord said Never Before, Never Again. Personally, I really love this one. Blackmore Tight says, love the song so much. It's a real earworm. I don't know why they chose it as a single. This could easily be number one for me, as most of the songs could be. Raf Calf says he thinks it's a throwaway song that could have been left off. Weston Supermare Pilgrim, a little poppy perhaps, but catchy. Lord Longford, I find it hilarious that they thought this would be a big single. I find it lame, a real filler track that is badly dated. Yes, and this was the one where they all fought with whoever the powers were that be. That's like, no, this is going to be our big single. And they're like, no, Smoke on the Water. And they're like, are you crazy? That won't be successful. Which John Lord talks about and admits how wrong they obviously were. Let's see here. Michael Bagford saying, I can see why Smoke became more popular, but this is a very good, catchy song, and I prefer it over Smoke. And I would kind of say the same, but mostly just do I need to hear Smoke on the Water again? I know it's funny when they release a new single or whatever, and they'll make it like one of those maxi singles, and they'll be like, oh, the B-side has a never before heard version of Smoke on the Water live. It's like, oh my goodness, a live version of Smoke on the Water. That's going to really entice me to buy this.
I've never heard that.
Never heard that at every show ever. Kev Roberts says, I've always loved this track. Vivid memories of this being played at the local youth club discos, along with Paranoid. Wow, that's my kind of disco. Purple Maniac says, underrated, infectious song, but something had to land at 6, so that's where Purple Maniac ranked it. Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts says, I have it at number 6. But I love this song. So that's kind of, there's a few people saying that they don't like it, but for the most part, I think people are liking it. Kai on the chat in the live stream says, perhaps the funkiest intro to a song from Mark II. After 30 seconds, the song transitions into a fierce, riff-based and dynamic song. Richie's solo is a bit of the style and sound he had on Stormbringer, groovy. Anders Engstrom says, a great tune, but something had to be number 7. Zwapper says, this swings like crazy. Ovis Nakvi says, Gillen hates it. I like it. So that's probably why they stopped playing it live. And what did the Gardeau say about this? I gotta find his rankings.
Yeah, because he ranked it second, right?
Yeah, he ranked it second. For some reason, he's while I'm scrolling by, Rich said, should have been a hit. The funky intro shows them at their loose jamming best. Then it snaps in and it's all business. Gardo says, love this. The slow part is somewhat annoying, but works. Annoying? He described his number 2 song on the album as somewhat annoying.
That's Pete for you.
There you go. So that's Never Before for you. Okay. So the next track up, coming in at 6th place, and let me go in my spreadsheet here, coming in at 103 points.
Number 6.
And it's Maybe I'm a Leo.
Oh.
Yeah, so Maybe I'm a Leo. I struggled with this one. This one really, I went back and forth with it. At one point, I had it as my number 1. But I ended up coming in at number 2 on this, and you came in at number 3.
Yes.
So yeah, agreeing that it's a great song. I love this riff by Roger. So this one, looking across the board, once again, nobody ranked this first. It came in 7th place, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times, more than Never Before. So it came in 7th more times than Never Before, but it got a lot higher rankings across the board. So I ranked it second.
Yeah, it's a great song. I mean, it's a top 3 for me, at least today, because I was struggling with this one and a few of the album tracks. I'm like, where do I put it? But it's like, I listened to it, and I mean, it's got a great groove to it, and it's just it's still just like the rest of the album. It sounds fresh, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound dated. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the production too, but the songs are just so good and swingy and poppy, and one of the things that I've always loved the best too, and I always say I'm not a drum guy, but I mean, Pacey's playing on this is like so great. It's so interesting, especially after the solos, which are great, and then he does all these crazy drum fills while they're playing the riff afterwards, and it's just like he's just throwing all these little things in, and that's so early Pacey. He's just like, I'm full of energy, I'm gonna do everything. But it was so cool, and even when I was younger, I knew that the little drum things he was doing just made the song so cool and like interesting to listen to, and it's just a great song. I love listening to it. Like after the opening track, when that one kicks in, I'm just like, yeah. So
Hank the Tank says, always loved this song from the moment I first heard it for the first time, 1974, I believe. Zwapper says, groovy. Robert Smith, I can't believe I had to place this at number 6, as I've always loved the song. A great example of how fantastic the solos are on this record. No other band could touch them on this form. And yeah, it's interesting what you said about the sound on this album, because I feel like this is the first album where the production was really, really stellar. Like, as much as I love In Rock and Fireball, they've got like a little bit of muddiness to them, which I like, but it's very of the time. Whereas this one feels like they had more, and it could just be an example of how much production advanced and changed, and how much more skilled they got in the 2 years since In Rock. But yeah, this one just sounds like on a different level production wise.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why I think that's why it's like overall, such a great album. Everybody loves it, is because it has a really timeless kind of sound to it.
Kai says, like Lazy, this is also a 12-bar blues, but the riff is magical, guitars, bass, and organ in perfect harmony, and Pace's playing is exciting spice throughout the song. Saul Evans, though, says the only track on this album feels like filler. So.
Ooh.
Gardo says heavy. Too heavy? Feel a bit tired after listening to it. Gardo needs a nap after this song. What else do we have? Merlin, a good, solid, strong song based on the riff by Glover. Nice fact, the song doesn't start on the first count, but on the 1, 2, 3, 4. So oh yeah, it starts on the upbeat, right? Oh yeah, I think there's like an interview with Roger talking about that, how it's like there was some song that inspired this, and Scott Askin might chime in with it, but there's some song that comes in on like it's coming in on that upbeat rather on the downbeat, and he's like, oh, I want to write a riff that does that, so he wrote this. It doesn't sound anything like the song that inspired it, but it was something that he just wanted to play with. You hear an idea and you're like, I want to do a song based on that idea. So it's pretty cool. Scott also says this was played 308 times live, so we're already getting a huge increase in this. And then as we get to the next, like I said, the next 5 songs are probably all over 1,000 easily. All right, what other comments do we have here? Steve Down to Earth Kohler says just okay. Oh, okay. Purple Maniac putting this song at 4th is a testament how strong the album is. Arthur Smith, a little less classic than all the other tracks on this record, but still a good one. Feels a little like a hangover from Fireball in terms of its tempo and feel. Michael Bagford saying I could have seen this done in the Mark III and Mark IV era. Go. Yeah. So there's a few. I'm just kind of picking things at random. So sorry if I didn't get to your comment. But yeah, some good analysis about Maybe I'm a Leo. Interesting song. Like I don't know what the lyrics particularly are about, and there's really not many lyrics at all. It's got like basically 2 lines in every verse, and there's only 3 verses. So there's really like 6 lines of lyrics, and then the rest of them are no, that's not true. The other ones don't. They end kind of the where is she now, and then I want her now. So it sounds like the same, but so there's 9 lines of lyrics, not anything crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maybe I'm a Leo. I don't know. It always just kind of makes me think of the whatever the what do you call it? The zodiac stuff. Why am I blanking? Astrology.
Yeah.
It always just makes me think of the, what's your sign? Groovy sort of thing. Oh, yes. Good call. It was John Lennon's How Do You Sleep is the song that inspired this one.
Oh, okay.
Which is an awesome song. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite solo John Lennon song. It doesn't sound anything like it, but it's got that starting in the and. Okay. Next song. Here we go.
Number 5.
That's right, folks. Space Truckin'. My goodness. Space Truckin' coming in at 5. Some heavy hitting songs here. Let's see where our rankings come in. I ranked Space Truckin' at 4, and you ranked it at 6.
Yeah. Yeah, I put it a little toward the bottom. I think these days the album tracks really resonate more with me than these. I mean, Space Truckin' is great. I mean, it's got a great groove. It's heavy. I always thought it was really heavy. Like when I first heard it, I was just like, I didn't know if that was John Lord's organ, if it was like a guitar sound, whatever. So, it just, still, I feel like a innovation in like songwriting and sounds, and just taking classic rock and just turning it upside down, like what people's perception of like the blues was or rock was or whatever. It's like great song, but I think at this point, there are other ones that I would just rather listen to. So that's why it had to kind of go toward the bottom. It can get a little it can get a little repetitive during the the percussion section and everything. Although it's a great build up,
Yeah.
From that, like toward the end. And then I can't remember if during our episode if we talked about how the chorus can get a little repetitive, but you know I guess I'm just trying to at this point, like, justify why a great song would be lower on the list, because it still is a great song. Nothing to hate about it, but
No, it's awesome. And that
yeah,
whatever
but I
that
think it's
effect.
just fatigue
Yeah, oh yeah,
factor,
yeah,
maybe.
for sure. And it's that effect he has on his organ on the beginning intro of that track. It's really a really, really cool effect. Like the song, obviously live it evolves into a very, very prolonged sort of jam. But yeah, this song, according to Scott Haskin, has been played 1,697 times live, the sixth most overall, and we have 4 tracks left on this album. So it could be that they're ranked in order of how many times they've been played live. We'll have to see, or at least pretty damn close. Yeah, so let's get to some of our patrons. We have in the responses for Space Truckin'. Scott says easy first pick for me. Oh, I didn't go through the overall ranking. So this one got 129 points overall. This one has 1, 2 first place rankings by Scott Haskin and Zwapper. I'm sorry, by Blackmore Tights and Zwapper. It was off by a column. It's got a couple number 2s, and then it was ranked last by Runar Siemens. Oh no, it was first place by Scott. Why am I all off here? There's too many columns on the spreadsheet. It was ranked last by Runar Simonsen.
I'd like to know why.
By Michael Bagford. Well, I guess we can find out. Stephen Sharp, Joe Sigler, and Jeff Bryce.
Last?
Yep. So let's find out. Who did I say here? Runar. Let's go to Runar and see what he's saying. Runar Simonsen says he didn't say anything. no comment. Scott Haskin says easy first pick for me. Always been a favorite to listen and play. With the other ones here, we're going to go down to Michael Bagford. Although he's in the chat, he might be able to speak for himself. Michael Bagford says, not a bad track on this album, but after hearing great live versions of the song, the studio version pales in comparison. I think that's very fair. Another last place was Stephen Sharp. Find Stephen says, I know this will feature higher in most people's rankings, but I've never warmed to it. Something about the squareness of the opening riff just never grabbed me. Okay. And 2 more last place finishes. One is Kai, who says, simple lyrics and simple riff, but still one of the few songs that has been in every concert since it was released. Comes last with me because I've heard it involuntarily often. Of course, I like the song, but it's not as good as the rest of the album. I think the lyrics are weak, almost a bit of an attempt to be funny. The riff has weight, but still can't compare with Smoke on Burn Black Knight. And yes, I think what it comes down to with me is, which is just said there, is having heard it involuntarily. There's songs that you've heard 1 million times. And I think that's why this was never really a go-to album with me, because it was everywhere. So it's probably why I still feel like maybe I'm a Leo and Never Before. When I hear them, I'm just always kind of like, oh yeah, this is on Machine Head. And the other 5, it's like you've heard them everywhere. And again, they're songs you hear literally at the mall, at the grocery store, when you're out, in a TV show, everywhere.
Right. And I mean, that's something you really can't get away from. I mean, it's hard, especially with this album. It's hard to kind of separate that, and that has to be part of the rankings. And this isn't, and it makes it different from this song is last because I don't like it, as opposed to like this song is last because I love it the least.
Yeah.
Or I like something better, even though it's still great. But I mean, it's like at this point, I don't listen to Space Truckin' anymore because I've heard it so many damn times.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I just don't find myself very often being like, you know what, I need to hear the album version of Space Truckin'. Just haven't heard it enough times. And yeah, that involuntary factor really fatigues me more than most. And I tried to be as objective as I could with this one, but it's just so hard because it all to me comes down with how much do I want to listen to it. Okay, so that brings us to number 4 ranked song. This one is got 137 points in our rankings, and that is
number 4.
You know the riff, Smoke on the Water, folks. Ranked dead center in our rankings, right at smack in the middle. Again, this is probably the one for me that is the hardest to be objective about, again, because it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere. What do you think about Smoke on the Water? Well, first let me say where you ranked it. You ranked it
dead
you
last.
Ranked it last.
Dead
I ranked
last.
I ranked it 6th.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, what else can you say about the song right now, right? I mean, I was listening to like the whole album, and I was like trying to listen objectively, and I'm like, okay, it's a riff. It's a little bit slower than the other songs. Like there were some other songs that have more of a swing, more of a fluidity, more of like a vibe to it, and Smoke on the Water does too. But I don't know if it's like really objectively. I tried to listen to it and say it doesn't really have as much swing as some of the other songs that I like better. And after hearing this so many times, like you said, supermarket, this, that, whatever, and then of course live, you can't really beat when they play it live. It's one of those songs that we've talked about before, where when you hit that riff live, whether it's you hear it in a bar, or a cover band plays it, or actual Deep Purple plays it, or dun dun dun, yeah, and that energy. But when you hear it come through the speakers, you're just like, all right, I've heard this 600 times. Next. So, but I mean, it's I would say that it's a well put together song. It's a well constructed song. It's still like, there were some Richie solos on this album that are some of my favorites, because like there's this one, a couple of others that are just like, so iconic. You can hum along with them and everything. That it's probably my favorite part of this song, because for anybody else playing the solo, any other guitar player, it probably wouldn't have been as interesting. But it's still, I still love listening to it and like kind of grooving along to it. But as a whole, yeah, I think just fatigue factor is set in. It's like I'd rather hear it live or in a different setting. But like a lot of these songs, I think we were talking about before too, when we were like talking about the last song, is if one of these like popular songs comes on a playlist or something, then I'll be like, I'll listen to it. Or if somebody else is playing it, like if I'm at work and it comes on somebody else's playlist, I'm like, yeah, because somebody else likes it. It's like, yeah, that's my band. But I won't play it on my own. Or if I hear this, sometimes I'll be on Spotify and be like, go to album and be like, yeah, I'm in the mood. Like if this comes on, I'm like, I want to hear one of the other tracks on this, but I won't like put it on.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's it is something that it's the riff. Obviously, everyone's talked about this riff a million times. One of the most instantly recognizable riffs, even if people don't know who did it, what band it's from. They know the riff. They've heard it. Scott points out they've played this 2,223 times live, the most played song they've ever done. Not super surprising. Michael Bagford asks, is there any information out there about how the song was created? Has it ever been covered? I mean, when you think about it, it's a good story song because it's like, it doesn't just tell the straight story. It does it in kind of a, what's the right word? Like an interesting way, you know, even though it is very literal. It's like Funky Claude pulling kids out the ground and everything. It's like, that's actually what was happening. But if you're not knowing who Funky Claude is or any of that, or the story of how, you know, which is actually a remarkable story about how nobody died in this horrific fire, and mostly due to the heroism of Funky Claude. You know, the part about Zappa being in there, it all sounds like it could almost be metaphorical, but it's really not. It's just it's a story song done really well, and story songs generally not my favorite thing, but I do really like this one. Scott Haskins saying, as we record this, his Smoke on the Water episode comes out tomorrow. So
shameless plug.
Yes. And Michael Bagford also says that I'm having nightmares about Funky Claude, because did you see that AI image? I only saw it like today or yesterday, but there's this AI image of Claude, and he's like literally pulling people out of the ground. It's very literal, and it's very stupid, but it's also kind of creepy. But it looks just like Claude. It's
interesting.
Very odd. Gardo is pointing out that the Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald is my wife's favorite song. So yeah, she has a different take on story songs, but she also hates Smoke on the Water. She calls it music for shovel heads. So yeah, so I don't know where she would rank that, because she'd have trouble ranking all these songs for the opposite reason of us. She was like, they're all kind of tied for last place. I think she'd probably like Never Before the most. Yeah, so that's a little bit about that song. As far as the patrons go, obviously there'll be a lot to be said about this song as I scroll over to, if I can find it, Smoke on the Water. Scott says
to see if there's any number ones.
Oh yeah, geez, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting the flow. Okay, number one. This was ranked number one by 1, 2, 3, 4 patrons.
Okay.
Lord Longford says, yeah, here I am complaining about songs suffering from overplay, and I ranked this juggernaut of classic radio number one. But come on, it's just the greatest rock anthem of all time. I agree. It's definitely in the contention for that. Scott Haskins says, still love this one, no matter how many times I've heard it. Are there any more number ones? Sick Tone writes, that riff is not as simple as people think, and it works so well because of John joining in on the riffing. Just listen to all the things Lord is doing to complement Richie's playing. Sounds huge on the album and majestic played live. He goes on to say, Pacey's hi-hat work may be triggering that shaking feeling, stylish solo. If this song wasn't played, I can't read, a very large number, we'll say 1 billion times on radio, TV, everywhere, this would probably sound even better. But glad that I have this huge hit everyone knows. Really struggling on deciding if the top song is this or another great one. So yeah, that is cool. Like that, you know, Lord is doing all those complimentary little flourishes while Richie's going on that riff or going on the chords. Who else ranked this one number one? Karsten Lau ranked this number one. And Karsten says, this is the best song in rock history. It's simply and so iconic, but it also tells an exciting story. The riff, the solo, and the smooth Rickenbacker bass line are fantastic. It has always been and will be my all-time favorite. Yeah, it does. It like he said, tells the story great. It's an awesome track. And then I think there was one more number one, and this one is Jeff Bryce. Jeff Bryce writes, find him in the spreadsheet here. I never get tired of the studio version of the song. Compared to hundreds of good and bad live versions, the original has the coolest groove, Payson Glover swaggering along, and Richie's perfect, unforgettable guitar solo. Still a favorite. Yeah, Richie's solos on this are great, and parts that kind of get played live in conjunction with improvisation.
Yeah. I think it's I think every band kind of goes through that. Like a famous band where they have kind of their kind of time period or albums, or maybe album, depending on how long they've been around, where like all the classic solos are within these, couple of albums. Like Richie has many of them, but none as, iconic as on this album, very put together, very melodic, not as off the cuff. Like, I mean, you could say, oh yeah, his, solo in Death Alley Driver is awesome, but I mean, I can't remember what it sounds like.
It is awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, it's, see, Scott brought up Kiss, which I was going to bring up as well. Like for that short period, like in the 70s, like Ace Frehley had some great solos. And then it's like, yeah, he had some after that too, but not as ingrained in your head, not as melodic, not as, ones where you're like, yeah, that's got something,
Yeah.
And, this one does, Richie really captured it here.
I think what was said about this, the riff gets this reputation for being like super simple, which it is, but that's kind of what makes it complicated, is that, and I remember seeing some guitar players talking about it. Like, I don't even know if my guitar is in tune because I haven't played it in so long, but like people play it like, like what are they? They do that kind of like, like bendy sort of stuff, or like they slide into the I don't even know if that's going to come through in the microphone, but they do that kind of stuff when it's really just, it's supposed to be very staccato, but you could tell when these guitarists play it, and they'll throw in little flourishes,
which is fine.
Yeah, they'll throw in all this stuff, or they'll go brown, that little like bend that I just did, and it's like, it is fine, I think, if you're doing a cover, but when you're in Deep Purple, you have to play it, you have to make it super, super simple, and I think that's to really capture that feeling of the original, because otherwise it just sounds, I don't know what the word is, but it just sounds too
wrong.
Yeah, I guess wrong is the. Peter Gardot said, like Yvengi did in Worcester. Yvengi. Yevgeny. I don't even know what that is. But yeah, I don't even remember. I remember he played Smoke on the Water, but I don't remember, like, what did he do? Like, I'm sure he didn't play it straight.
I don't know.
I'm sure
nobody knows.
9 sweep arpeggios per second into the main riff.
Yeah, it was the only song of that we recognized in the set, and it wasn't even one of his.
Yeah, because you're like, oh wow, this is. I remember kind of being excited, like, oh, a song. It wasn't just him soloing.
Yeah.
Peter Gardot said, and he sang. It was awful. Then he hit me in the head with a pick.
Oh, Pete.
Yeah, and Graham's Disco Pants and Haircuts saying, if you screw with it too much, it sounds like Cat Scratch Fever, right? It just kind of like, it has like this, there's a swing to it that it's supposed to be a little bit more straight. I think that's what it is. But anyway, that's a Smoke on the Water. And then that takes us to the last 3 tracks on our rankings spreadsheet. So pretty soon it was going to be obvious where we are if you're counting along at home. So in 3rd place with 149 votes, we have
Number 3.
we have Lazy.
Lazy.
Speed King. Speed King doesn't come up on this one, but yeah, Lazy. This one was ranked. I have too many tabs open here. This one was ranked by you number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And by me, this one was ranked last.
Ooh.
I know, controversial, right?
Ooh, controversial. Yeah.
Also ranked last by Scott Haskin, Blackmore Tights, Kev Roberts, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts, and Zwapper the Electric Alchemist, all ranked at last.
Wow.
Then it was ranked first by Weston Supermare Pilgrim, Victor Campos, Eddie Lyon, Peter Gardot, Mark Roback, all ranked it first. So, John, second, explain yourself. I'm the one who has to explain myself. But.
Yeah, you do. I don't have to explain nothing. I thought this song has always been great. It's been like I would say, I'm trying to think. It's like the child in time of this album. And like it's the longer song, it's the epic, it's the build up, although not in the same way, but just from from Lord's intro and the way that they just kind of take the whole blues thing and just turn it around and make it something that's just different and great. And it's a jam, but it's not, you're just not listening to a blues song. You're listening to something with some swing, and it's really interesting. And it starts off with John Lord just doing this thing on the Hammond. You don't know where he's going with it. Mm-hmm. And then it just settles into this great little kind of ditty. You're snapping your fingers, you're tapping your foot. Gillan comes in with the harmonica. And I mean, forget about live. I mean, it's just like they, is another one that's even better live. But I mean, I think that
Sorry, the chat is distracting me.
yeah, I know.
They're talking about Duncan Leask joined us. So Scott started talking about Hungry Horse because of Lucy's great rendition. And then they were talking about it being a version of Hungry Hippos, to which Michael Bagford said, in that version of the game, it plays a boring drum solo for 3 minutes if you try to cheat. Okay, sorry. Had to.
But yeah, that's it. I think the album version is just as interesting and wonderful to listen to as any live version, and it still sounds like fresh and interesting, and it's just it's a great song to listen to.
I don't know. This one I struggle with a little bit. There's live versions of it that I really like. But I do feel like someone else said, it's it's like the child in time of this album. There's live versions that are live. I think it's got a little more excitement. I love the and when he finally kicks in with that, it's like, oh, it's like that release hearing him actually hit that riff, for the lack of a better word. But yeah, at the end of it, it's a 12-bar blues, and it's not a lazy blues song, but it's pretty standard, as far as blues songs go. I just think because they're Deep Purple and they put in all those cool solos and everything, they make it super, super exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Gardot say it is called lazy, yes, but it's not really lazy. That we heard Yngwie play that recently on something we were listening to. Yes, so lazy, where the heck is it? So for the last place rankings, we have Scott Haskin, who says, this is the only song on the album I've never been a big fan of.
Boo.
Purple
I will boo you.
Purple Maniac says, fantastic song, even better live. So clearly not disliking it, even at number 7. Merlin says, one of the best. Organ intro, very good. Guitar solo on the audible, sliced together from 2 takes. You can hear the change of guitar sound. Is one of RB's best. And again, ranked at 7th. Will Porter, PHDPP, says, the song itself may just be a 12-bar blues, but the slow build of the intro and the virtuosity of both Lord and Blackmore elevate this to being another of my all-time favorites, and Pacey really swings. So not getting a lot of bad press from the 7s. Ranked first, Lord Longford says, oops, I had the wrong one. Pretty basic blues rock stuff. I consider it a vehicle for live jamming rather than an album track. Do I have these counts right? These don't sound like they're locking up. Sick Tone, ranked at number 1. Brilliant organ intro, then goes into this very catchy rhythm. Love the main riff solos. Groovy, then comes Gillan throwing these cool lyrics and harmonica solo. Very hard to rate this one too. So, okay. So we've got a wide variety of comments there, seeing if there's any others that kind of jump out. Fabulous track, done way better on Made in Japan by Arthur Smith. Kev Robert says, seems really harsh to classify this as my least favorite track. This one suffers more than any other from comparisons with the live versions. Did I have Kev Roberts as having this last? Oh, I'm looking at Smoke on the Water. That's the problem. Yes, I did have Kev Roberts as having that last. Fantastic song, even better live. Quintessential, says the Gardeau. Stuart McCord, big fan of this track, especially when they perform it live. So a lot of people bringing up the live thing, which is not super surprising. Ovis says, built for live performance. Zwapper says, meh. All right, so Zwapper.
Ooh.
Meh, he
Shots
says.
fired.
Robert Smith says, I won't be surprised if a few others select this as their number 1. A great showcase for John Lord. And when the rest of the band join in, it's a joy to listen to.
Yes.
All right. So next up is the second highest ranked track on the album. This one comes in at 178 points. And when I play it, you're going to know what the first ranked track is. And I don't think it's going to be super surprising to anybody, but here we are with number 2.
Number 2.
And of course, you can hear the galloping drums right now. Pictures of Home coming in at number 2. John, you ranked Pictures of Home number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I ranked Pictures of Home number 1.
Oof.
All right. So it's dead center for you. What do you say about Pictures of Home?
I like it. I mean, it's good. It's good. Yeah.
I don't have to put that thing in there.
It's great. Yeah, I think it's I would say between that and Maybe I'm a Leo, I kind of was like flip-flopping. I think I like Maybe I'm a Leo a little bit better. Pictures of Home is it's another album track that I really enjoy because it's just got a great kind of vibe to it, where it kind of like coasts along. It's like kind of like a good mid-tempo rocker, and then it gets like a little. Oh,
what happened?
I banged my knee on the desk.
Careful.
It's a good mid-tempo rocker that like it kind of like slows down in the middle and has this kind of like otherworldly type of like pre-chorus, and then it goes into the chorus, and then it has this like build where John Lord is a like very staccato type of like building organ, and then the solos are great. You got Roger's infamous bass solo like toward the end. I I mean, it's like it's like a mini showcase for everybody, starting with kind of Pacey's drums. Everybody kind of gets a little featured in this, somehow. Not that there's no song where Purple doesn't, but I don't know. I just think it's one of those kind of hidden gem songs that's got a lot going for it. But it's like, sits right in the middle for me because it's not one of my favorites, but definitely not one of my least favorites in the album. So I would say, like, yeah, even though there's like, what is there, 7 songs, so that's no true middle, but it's like, I would say middle ranked for me.
That is a true middle. 4 is the true
Is it?
middle. Yeah.
Well, no, because there's not 8 songs.
Yeah, but you can't have a true middle with an even number of songs.
Yeah.
You ranked it dead middle, 4. There's 3 before it and 3 after it.
Oh, okay, then yeah. All right, then it's a true middle.
Yeah, see? We're getting a math lesson too.
I don't know. Math, I don't know her.
I don't know her.
I don't know her. Math, I don't know her. But yeah, it's definitely love this song. It's a pleasure to listen to. Nate?
Just found out my son got into Michael Bagford's The Leaf Blower Drove John out of his mind. Pictures of Home ranks 13th most played at 891 times, says Scott Haskin. And speaking of math, my son just got into honors math. So I don't know where he got that from. It's not from me. It's not from my wife. But yeah, he'll be able to coach us on this stuff very shortly. He's already better than math than I am going into 8th grade.
Wow.
So yes, Pictures of Home. And where are we with this one? It looks like Runar Simonson ranked it first. Arthur Smith, Kev Roberts, Purple Maniac, Merlin, and Hank the Tank. Hank the Tank? Yes, Hank the Tank. All ranked this first. It's the first song to get 0 last place finishes, although a few 6th place, including Ovis Nakvi, Kai, who is on the live stream, Saul Evans, and Victor Campos all ranked at 6th. So, yeah, so not bad. So let's hear from some other first place commenters. For that one, we have Pictures of Home. Scott says, come on, I'm a drummer. Of course, I love the opening. It's a great song all the way to the end. Also coming in at first, 3 in a row, starting with Mr. Arthur Smith saying, find him. I've put it at number 1 here because, of course, I love the drum intro. So all the drummers are putting it in first place.
Of course. Yeah.
It is a great drum intro. I also the song hasn't been too overexposed over the years. Benefits in some ways from not being on Made in Japan, and I was excited to hear it done live by the current version of the band back in 2022, an underdog classic in the Purple catalog. Kev Roberts follows that with another number 1 ranking. For me, this is the one. From that opening blast from Ian Pace, it truly thunders along. I have had the privilege of going to an Ian Pace drum clinic and stood no more than 10 feet away from him as he played the drum intro. Simply stunning. Great vocals and lyrics from Gillan. Glover keeps it rolling along at a frenetic pace, and Blackmore and Lord's solo spots are amazing. Fitting the song like a glove, a masterpiece. Very well said by Mr. Roberts. Purple Maniac says, this was always my favorite on the song. Favorite song on the album. The haunting melancholy lyrics juxtaposed with the frenetic energy of the performance is a testament to the power of music contrast. I would have sold myself into indentured servitude to have this unmade in Japan. Wow, so some pretty high praise from everyone. And I think we got one more first place. 2 more. Merline says, fantastic song, off the wall, adventurous, not like anything they've done before. Guitar riff in counterbeat over the rhythm and the Bulgarian Eastern type of guitar riff. Maybe my ultimate DP song. Drum intro and beat are very hard to play. I know from experience. And Hank the Tank says, survey says, love the drums. They sound fantastic. Ludwig, of course. Yeah, I really, this one always to me was that like, that, you know, the lines about the emptiness, eagles, and snow, which Scott was talking in his recent episode about how John Lord was laughing at. I guess he read them off the paper. I was kind of laughing at them until he heard them sung. But there's another person that really likes those lyrics. Let's hear from her.
I'm alone here with emptiness, eagles, and snow.
So Lucy likes it too.
That's cute.
It is, but yeah, it was. I remember that's one of those memories I have of hearing that for the first time, because it's such an odd lyric, but it also paints this great picture of him being in Switzerland when they're doing this, and you know they're in these snowy Swiss mountains, and there's eagles and all this sort of stuff. It's just great. Such a great.
It's just one of those kind of visual lyrics where it's like you hear them, emptiness, eagles, and snow, right? It doesn't seem to go together, but it sounds really poetic. It sounds like it goes together with the music, the way he sings it, and you know, you just get used to it so much over the years. You hear it and you can kind of picture it in your mind, like along with that line of the song and the way that the music is going, almost like the wind, the snowy wind is blowing into your face while he's singing it, you know? And it's like eagles, snow, like what does that have to do with each other? Nothing, but it makes sense in this song. So.
And I apologize, Scott ranked Space Truckin' first, not this song. But Runar Simonson ranked it first, but he didn't have a comment, so I think I accidentally read Scott's.
Assigned it to Scott.
I assigned it. Mea culpa there. All right, so it's not going to be too hard to discover what the first place song is with 219 votes. So over 40 votes more than the second place finisher. A pretty almost a consensus here.
Number one.
You know that intro, you know those solos, you know these lyrics. It is Highway Star, of course, the album opener coming in at first place. I mean, I can't be mad at that.
Nope.
It's one of the all-time great Deep Purple songs. You ranked this first. I ranked it third, but my first, second, third were all kind of in flux. I toyed with ranking this one first because I just don't know, man. It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
I think the only thing was maybe the fatigue factor. It's the only thing that would have knocked it down for me. But I don't know if this was one of those tracks that was an album opener, but they never played live or whatever. Maybe I'd rank it first. I don't know, but it's definitely this one I feel differently about than Smoke on the Water. When this one, I just like, yeah, you know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with fatigue factors is like there's no accounting for it. It's very subjective. For some reason, I could hear this and Smoke on the Water, like, in the same playlist in the same concert and not get sick of this. Because I listened to this song today and I'm like, nope, still not sick of it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, it's like the album version and the live version is like it's like a perfect opener. It's just like when you hear Kiss and Detroit Rock City. You know what I mean? And it's like you're like, this song was made to be like the opener, and you just picture like it's so grandiose and like it builds and like and you know, and even like when I was listening to it earlier, I'm thinking about like how Gillan's like he's like, his voice is like he's doing the scream, but it's like 3 different tracks and they're all coming in at different times, and it's like who thought of that? Who's doing that? You know? And I don't know, the solos are iconic. Again, they're just like they're ones that you could the guitar solo, you can hum it, and it's like you don't get tired of it, and the whole song just has this momentum. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's because it's so fast paced and and so driving, and it really gets you moving. But it's like this is one of them that there are some songs that I don't get sick of, and I know that I mentioned it before. It's like whenever I hear it, like again in the grocery store or on a playlist or live or whatever, it's like I never am like, I feel like skipping it.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I love the song. It's got to be number one. And, it's great to have like a fatigue factor level song where you, where you feel like that about, where you don't get tired of it. I love that there can be songs like that, which, goes to show that like some of them just can transcend that. At least they can for me.
It's one it's the third song in a row that's like an opening statement. A really good opener just makes like this powerful statement. You got Speed King, it's like, oh, how do you top that? Fireball doesn't have the same maybe notoriety of Speed King, but to me it's like, holy crap, they topped it. This is because it's so unbelievably like fast paced and exciting. And it's like, well, how do you top that? Well, boom, they did it again with Highway Star. It's just, it makes the statement, like you said, the screaming vocals, the build in of the marching drum, the snare drum. There's so much going on. And then of course the solos, one of Lord and Blackmore's most recognizable and iconic solos from each of them. Yeah, wow. It's just an incredible track. And one of the things I have in the list for episodes that we'll get to eventually, and this would probably have to be a 3 or 4 parter, is, ranking the album openers and ranking all the album closers. I think we have to wait till they're done making albums. But what's going to beat out Highway Star? It's a tough one to beat. It's going to be in the top 2, 3, if not number 1.
I mean, if you're thinking of album openers, the only one that I can think of that would come close is Burn.
Yeah.
Because, in my favorites, like that's another one that, I mean, if they, obviously not this version of the band, but if they ever used it, you could use it as an opener, and it does have that same momentum that Highway Star does. And I don't know if like Highway Star could edge it out, but I mean, it's like those would be like the top 2 in terms of like, sheer just driving power for a first track. But, so I mean, some bands get it like once, they've done it like a handful of times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Songs.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Killer openers. Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really great opener. So for this one, oh my God, how many? Number 1 by you, Blackmore Tights, Raf Calf, Michael Bagford, Steve Down to Earth Kohler, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts, Rich, Duncan Leask, Stephen Sharp, Saul Evans, Kai, Joe Sigler, Kenny Wymore, Stuart McCord, Anders Engstrom, Will Porter, PhD, Robert Smith, and Ovis Nakvi. So it's probably
it's not
half.
Just me.
It's probably half of the patrons ranked this number first. The one person ranked it 6th, 1 4th, 2 4th, a 5th, a 3rd, and then the rest are 2s. So it's pretty universal that this.
All right.
Let's start with Zwapper. Zwapper ranked this one 6th. So let's go just to see what Zwapper's.
And that was the lowest, right?
That was the lowest.
The lowest ranking, right? It was right for this. What would he say? Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I'm just reading what he said. What did we read? Okay, so Zwapper is who said meh about Lazy. He says Highway Star, frantic, really good, but so is everything on this album, except for Lazy, which sucks a trillion llama dicks.
Now, why did he have to throw Lazy in there for his?
He really, yeah. It's funny that he was very nonchalant about his ranking for Lazy, but then he goes to Highway Star and really throws Lazy under the bus.
Boy, I guess that's his. That's his equivalent of place in line for me, I guess.
Yeah, is a trillion enough?
Yeah.
We'll have to find out. Oh my goodness. That just caught me off guard. And then there's too many number ones to read, but if I can go to the top here, Killer album opener. I'm just gonna read some random lines and without attributing them, but Killer album opener, epic Purple song, can never get tired of it. I'm quite fatigued at the song, and I find I roll my eyes at the lyrics. Still gets third, which shows how great it is. Gets played a lot like Smoke, but unlike that studio version, I never tire of this classic. What a brilliant opening track for an album or a show or anything, really. Right from the get-go, it's clear the album, more than any other, is going to be the hardest to rate, simply because we've pretty much been listening to it constantly for 50 years. A legendary, iconic song, what more can be said? My gateway Deep Purple song, and possibly my favorite. Not my favorite version, as I always prefer it live. Encapsulates the genius of Deep Purple. Surely the ultimate driving song. One hell of a superb way to open this classic record. And as we had Chris L. tell us on the show many years ago, he got into a car wreck while listening to the Made in Japan live version of the song, which he says is one of the coolest things that's ever happened to him. Luckily, everyone was okay.
If you're going to get in a car wreck, this is the song to do it to.
Exactly. But from the sound of it, it sounded like whoever hit them was the person that should have been listening to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, across the board, really brilliant song and really high rankings from our patrons.
It has that certain something, that je ne sais quoi.
That's certain. What the French call I don't know what.
Joie de vie.
So as we go through the rankings, Never Before 93 points, Maybe I'm a Leo 103, Space Trucking 129, Smoke on the Water 137, Lazy 149, Pictures of Home 178, Highway Star 219. Scott says that this is the second most played song of all time by Deep Purple, with 2006 times been played live. Yes, not Miguel approves. Yeah, and then we got some great wrap-ups of the album. I wonder if I should put these whole things into the show notes somehow, so people can see, can read everyone's comments. But I don't really know how to do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I could try to do it. I just don't know if I can do it in any way that's not going to be really hard to format. Yeah, so let's thank our last level of patrons before we wrap up here.
Okay.
We have at the foundation level, at the £3.50 Deep Purple New York tier, you know him, you love him, Lord Longford. At the £3 aromatic feed tier, Simon Ford and Richard Brees. At the €3.50 tier, Weston Supermare Pilgrim. At the 293 pence tier,
Blackmore Tights.
At the $3.33 halfway to evil tier, we have Stephen Sharp and Duncan Leask.
I'm alone here with empty nest, eagles, and snow.
At the £3 Nobody's Perfect tier, Peter Gardeau. Ian DeRosier. Mark Roback. Stuart McCord. Ivan Fjeldbu. Runar Simonsen. Ruinous Inadequacies, Corey Morissette. Joe Dopefish Sigler. Adam Cork, Tim Wood, Steve Down to Earth Kohler, and simply put, Michael. At the $1.71 I Want My Own tier, we have
Rich, Yangui, Shaylor,
I know who Rich is. Rich is my favorite.
At the 10 cold, hard Danish kroner tier, we have Karsten Lau.
Cold, hard Danish kroner.
And at the $1 made-up name tier, the Space Dian, Leaky Mausoleum, Stephen Somerville, the Concerto 1999 Fanatic, Hank the Tank, Private Eyes, Ashton Lionel, Zwapper, the Electric Alchemist, Anders Engstrom, ICDC, Durple Purple, David Haddam. In the chat, Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts.
I said, Graham, you know, our audience expects you to be a bit more dirty.
Disco pants and haircuts, yeah.
I'm just going to put my guitar across his head.
Eddie Lyon.
Homosexual.
And Sick Tone.
Where is she? Where is she? She's just about to close up the library.
Thank you so much to all of you for your generous support of the Deep Purple podcast. All right, we did it, John. And the chat.
Hooray, we did it.
We did it, chat.
Oh my God, with a short episode this week.
Yeah. Just convenient because I have less time than I thought I did.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
Michael Bagford asking where Disco Pants and Haircuts reference comes from. It comes from I think the library thing is from whatchamacallit. It's the movie.
It's a wonderful life.
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm doing the wrong. I'm thinking of Sick Tone.
Yeah.
Disco Pants and Haircuts is from the Blues Brothers. Yes, sorry.
What does it have to do with Graham Bonnet, though?
Graham Bonnet. What about what?
What does the Blues Brothers have to do with Graham Bonnet?
Oh, because they're the ones that say Disco Pants and Hair. Well, because he named himself Graham Bonnet's Disco Pants and Haircuts.
Yeah.
And it's the line by I don't know if it's Jim Belushi that says Disco Pants and Haircuts, and Dan Aykroyd's like, oh yeah.
But I mean, does anybody in the Blues Brothers movie look like Graham Bonnet? And that's why.
No, I think the reference is that he's referencing because remember he would get haircuts and Richie would be upset about it.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's where it kind of the connection comes in.
Yes. Gotcha. All right. Well, that was convoluted. Anyways,
yeah. Especially since I started describing the wrong jingle. But yes, another rankings episode in the can. That means next time we're going to be up to who do we think we are? So it's going to be a lot. I mean, we know where your number 7 is.
That'll be more interesting for me.
I think there'll be a lot more variance on that one too, because I don't think the score. I don't think there's going to be that one runaway winner. You know, there's just so many different songs on that album. It's not as really predictable. I don't think.
I don't know. I feel, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, Woman from Tokyo could run away with it.
It could, because it's really the only, Michael Bagford says he's going to be agreeing with you on number 7. I think Woman from Tokyo is, it's the only real song that made it to their set for any real amount of time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like there's other songs on there that could be they could give it a run for its money. We'll see.
Well, we'll see, folks, because when is that rankings episode?
Well, it's the rankings are due by the 18th
of
August. I'm sorry, August. Yeah, that would be helpful.
Okay. See, so you guys are going to have to wait a few months.
Yes. And I don't know when it's going to, so it'll probably come out in late August or early September.
I don't want to think about it.
Yeah. John and I are really ahead, so we're getting ready for our summer breaks.
Yep, the summer slowdown.
Summer travel. But we're staying pretty far ahead. We'll be recording again in a couple days with a special guest, which will be our next episode after this. Yeah. So our next episode will feature a special guest. That's exciting.
Yes. Well, this was a lot of fun. I always like an excuse to, go over these albums again.
Yes.
In different ways.
I am very excited about doing like ranking all the album openers, ranking all the album closers, ranking all the albums, period. Those will be fun episodes and multi-parters.
Mm-hmm.
It should spark a lot of interesting debate and dialogue about what albums are better than others. Because I feel like you, despite what your number rankings are for the songs on an album, you view the album as a whole and have a overall impression of it that could put it first, second, last. Who knows? So, all right. Well, thank you everybody joining us on the live stream. If you want to get in on the next live stream, sign up to become a patron. It's one of the many great benefits you get, along with chatting with us all day in the Discord channel. So yeah. Anything? Any closing comments, John?
Nope. Just what I said before. Always a good time. Like hopping on with some of the patrons. Like a chance to talk about some of these albums again, because I remember when we started, we were just like, oh no, we're going to review it and that's going to be it. But somehow we find a way to keep coming back.
That's right.
So
we can do whatever we want, right? Maybe we'll just review it again. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's our show. We'll do whatever we want.
All
right. Well, thank you. I love mops. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll be at you next week with another exciting album review. But what will it be? Who knows?
Yeah, we just told you. Good night.
All right. Later.
All right.
If you like the Deep Purple podcast and would like to support the show, please consider joining our Patreon or donating on PayPal. Patrons get full access to the podcast, Discord server, ratings, spreadsheets, and live stream invites. You can also leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts to help new people discover the show. You can follow the show on Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, or Threads. You can also check out the website at deeppurplepodcast.com for show notes and more. Contact us via email at John or Nate at deeppurplepodcast.com. Thanks for listening.